Oh man, 2 new characters were released for Genshin Impact today. Look at all these videos showcasing their kit. Oh man, Yoimiya looks so fun. I can't wait to wish on the banner and try to get her. Alright, let's see. 1 hour and 56 minutes?
Stop, please, Vayne, I beg you, may it stop.
Alright, time to make a video on the Abyss Order. So what is the Abyss Order? Well, the Abyss Order is arguably the #1 enemy of the Traveler, and they are a shadowy organization that has its reaches everywhere in Teyvat, and even the Traveler's sibling in its depths. So who is the Abyss Order? We haven't seen all of the members of the Abyss Order just yet, but from the enemies we have seen in-game, their construction goes something like this. #1 clearly, from what we understand, being the Traveler's sibling as at least the highest ranking member of the Abyss Order we've seen so far. Underneath him or her, depending on who you choose, I would place the Abyss Herald, then the Abyss Lector, then the Abyss Mages. And not officially, I would rank Hilichurls as also part of the Abyss Order to some extent, because the Abyss does use the Hilichurls to kind of perpetuate their dominance over Teyvat, and it's been seen that the Abyss Mages communicate with Hilichurls. So now that we know who the members of the Abyss Order are up until this point, where did they come from, and where did the monsters of the Abyss come from? Well, they all originated out of the destruction of the ancient underground civilization of Khaenri'ah. And if you don't already know, Khaenri'ah was an extremely advanced civilization that existed 500 years ago. And they utilized alchemy to create the necessities of life that weren't available to them underground. And it got to the point where one specific alchemist became so skilled at this alchemy that he started creating creatures and life on his own. And we can infer that this angered Celestia because it probably made them feel obsolete and that these humans were basically stealing their role and playing God. So Celestia utilized the 7 Archons to basically no-scope Khaenri'ah out of existence. And the current Abyss Order is the leftover amalgamation of the survivors who seek to enact revenge upon Celestia because they felt like this punishment was totally unjust. And one of the most important people we have in the game when it comes to lore about Khaenri'ah and the Abyss Order would be Donsleaf. Donsleaf is probably one of the only survivors of Khaenri'ah that is still human, was not turned into an Abyss monster, or does not serve the Abyss Order, that has given us a lot of confirmed information because he personally was in Khaenri'ah and was cursed with immortality because he was a royal guard for Khaenri'ah's Eclipse dynasty, which was a dynasty that ruled over Khaenri'ah at the time, and he failed to protect them and basically allowed, well, not that he had any control over, fighting the 7 Archons, but because he failed to protect the dynasty, he was cursed with immortality. And now that he personally witnessed all of his friends and family and, citizens of Khaenri'ah, his comrades, become monsters of the Abyss and join the Abyss Order, he is basically adamant and dead set about destroying the Abyss Order and anything to do related to it. And one of the most important and really cool things is he's going to be an up-and-coming character if he's not already out by the time that you're watching this video. And another really important thing while I was editing this video that I wanted to add about Donsleaf is the last time we saw Donsleaf, he had entered the Abyss with the Traveler's sibling and the Abyss Herald. So when he becomes a playable character, it's going to be one of the biggest moments of Genshin's, story progression, because we'll have had a character that had been to Khaenri'ah, had been to the Abyss, and, comes back with a story to tell. So when he gets announced or when he gets leaked or whatever, we'll know that there's something crazy major big going on with Genshin's story. And I just wanted to throw that out there. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention another character that's vital to our understanding of the Abyss Order, and that would be Tartagly, or otherwise known by his 11th Fatui Harbinger name, Child. So when Child was 14, he was wandering a forest and he fell in what the game lore describes as a bottomless crack in the earth, and wound up in the Abyss for 3 months. So does this mean that the entrance of the Abyss is in some forest somewhere? Well, not exactly. It's said that the Abyss seemed to recognize the burning ambition that Child held, And what's interesting about that is that visions work in a very similar fashion. It's said that people are given visions by archons and, gods based on their desire and their burning passion. So the abyss almost seems to work in the same exact way, except from what we know, Child is the only one to have entered the abyss in this way that we know of. So he spent 3 months in the abyss where he met a swordsman who taught him how to fight. So from now what we understand is there's people who live in the abyss. And it might not be some hellscape down there where they're constantly fighting abyss monsters or something of that nature if people have time to learn swordsmanship and if it's an environment where a 14-year-old boy can live. But the strange thing is that when Child left the abyss, and it's not mentioned how he left, only 3 days had passed in Teyvat. So he was in the abyss for 3 months, but in Teyvat, in the real world outside of the abyss, only 3 days had passed. So through Tartaglia's backstory, we learn a lot of important information about the abyss and the Abyss Order, and kind of what environment that they're living in down there. So there you go. That's basically our understanding of the abyss and the Abyss Order, who's in the Abyss Order, where the Abyss Order came from, all of the pertinent and important information I thought I would add into this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you guys are liking these lore videos. If you have a discussion or something you want to comment that I missed or was also important, or just new information that hasn't been fully explored yet, leave a comment, and I'll probably reply to it, and thank you for watching.